To contribute to the development of healthcare system on the African continent, a Pan-African Healthcare Initiative, I3, has organized a 3-day networking event to connect African startups to potential investors and stakeholders. The event, which took place in Lagos, Nigeria, and sponsored by a global network of industry leaders, donors and institutions, had in attendance 31 selected promising innovators across the continent who are expected to foster meaningful relationships with stakeholders and industry players to drive the company's commercialization and growth. Our correspondent Abisola Adebayo tells us more in this next report.
It's no secret that the COVID-19 pandemic exposed huge gap in Africa's healthcare sector. This situation has been attributed to the chronic lack of investment in healthcare infrastructure and equipment, as well as supply chain constraints. However, new research has found that tech startups that are looking to plug these gaps are now springing up all over the continent. But while many of these companies are still at the early stages of maturity, only a number of them have actually reached the growth stage. To contribute to the development and growth of this health tech ecosystem, a Pan-African initiative investing in innovation, I3, decided to organize this networking event, Access to Markets, bringing together 30 selected health startups across Africa with leading healthcare organizations as well as stakeholders.
What we're trying to do is to support startup companies that will allow us to leapfrog with regards to innovation and therefore reach a lot more people in a much more scalable way. So essentially this is doing things in a very novel approach. In a startup environment, failure is extremely high. And what we need to do, it's our responsibility, is to support these kind of companies around Africa, because there's challenges in Africa, but no one can solve for these challenges like Africans. So the solutions need to come from Africans.
Innovators at the event say they are optimistic about making meaningful collaborations which will drive commercialization and scaling of their companies.
It's very, very amazing because, it brings together all parties that are involved, from entrepreneurs who are building solutions to donors to the government, so that we can be able to collaborate and find a way on how we are able to tackle the healthcare challenges in these markets across Africa, how we are able to get access, how we are able to solve the issues seamlessly.
I'm humble enough to know that I need to learn, so I'm learning a lot from the experts and the various organizations that are here. I'm also going to get a lot of partnerships out of this that's going to also serve the markets in ensuring that we get as quickly as possible into the markets and reaching the underserved and communities that yet do not have access to healthcare.
Potential investors and government stakeholders at the event also expressed willingness to collaborate with the innovators to improve public health services and accelerate the achievement of the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals.
To become a model megacity, you need to incorporate smart digital technology. So within the field of medicine or health, which is why we're gathered here today, we're trying to see how innovators in this space, both in Lagos, Nigeria and across the continent, can provide new ideas, new innovations that help us as governments to make supply and demand side more efficient.
To the startup companies that we're meeting with today, it's important that they understand our strategy, supply chain strategy. They understand who the key stakeholders are. They understand how to engage and partner with stakeholders, whether it's government or non-government stakeholders, and that we can explore high impact innovative partnerships with them.
Over the years, Nigeria and the Africa healthcare sector have suffered huge deficits, which most of these healthcare startups are building solutions to. With a supportive business environment, sufficient funding flows and strong connections facilitated by events like these, one could say Africa is well on its way to achieving universal health coverage. Abisola Adebayo, TV 360, Lagos.